Libra, something extraordinary is happening in your field of destiny. This is how big your luck will be, and someone fated is about to enter your life to mark it forever. Hello, beautiful Libra. Welcome to Zodiac Whisper Tarot, a sacred space where soul messages find you exactly when you're ready. If you're watching this, it's not a coincidence. It's alignment. A divine appointment between your intuition and the universe's timing. This is not just a horoscope. This is a transmission. A moment of deep remembrance. A message you were meant to hear. Let's begin with something real. Have you ever felt like the right person could appear at the exact moment your soul is ready, not to fix you, but to walk with you into a new, more authentic version of your life? Libra, that moment is closer than you think. Right now, the energy surrounding your sign is vibrating with rare intensity. The stars are not just whispering, they are declaring that your cycle of delay is ending. You're entering a new portal of truth, connection, and wealth. A new structure is forming beneath your feet. A person aligned with your spirit is stepping forward. And the fortune you've prayed for is not just approaching, it's anchoring. This person, whether new or already present in your life, is not here to fill a void. They are here to co-create something solid with you. They mirror your depth, not your doubt. They honor your presence, not your performance. And they arrive not with chaos, but with clarity. But in order to receive this, you must meet the moment fully awake. You must remember what you've already survived. This isn't about being worthy, it's about finally realizing you always were. I want to take a moment to thank you, Libra. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here, for every like, every share, every comment you've ever offered on this channel. Your presence is not passive. It activates this work. It allows Zodiac Whisper Tarot to continue channeling and delivering transformational messages like this one. You are part of something bigger. You are not alone on this path. And trust me, Libra, you'll want to stay with me all the way through this video. Because what the universe is about to reveal isn't just insightful. It's life-defining. It's the type of message you don't just hear, you feel in your chest, like a soft fire returning to your soul. Now, I want to ask you something. What led you here today? What synchronicity, what dream, what inner whisper called you to this moment? If any part of this already resonates, take a deep breath with me and write in the comments, "I'm ready to receive what's mine by divine alignment." Let that be your declaration. Let that be your signal to the universe. And let's begin, because what's ahead is sacred. Sometimes, the energy you carry begins to shape the events around you before you're even aware it's happening. That's where you are now, Libra. Something has shifted, not just in the sky, but inside your own heart. The timing is no longer about someday. The wheel is already turning. Just as Cancer was called into a portal of fortune, healing, and destiny, you too are stepping into a wave that is carrying you forward. In astrology, we often speak of celestial alignments as invitations, and over the next 2 weeks, you are being invited into one of the most expansive windows of your recent life. With the moon activating your emotional clarity, Venus softening your internal landscape, and Jupiter, the great amplifier, anchoring abundance, love, and visibility into your chart, there's no coincidence that you're feeling stirred. The universe isn't teasing you with signs, it's confirming what you've quietly suspected for some time now, that your life is ready for more, and that more is already approaching. This isn't about chasing, Libra, it's about receiving. The law of attraction is not about wishful thinking or performance. It is resonance. At this point in your journey, you're no longer being asked to prove your worth only to remember it. You don't just attract luck, you embody it. And when you embody something, you don't have to beg for it. It shows up. This is why certain doors are beginning to unlock, why certain people are crossing your path, and why that dream, the one that felt like it would always be delayed, is now starting to feel possible. The outer world is catching up to your inner alignment. That's how attraction works when it's sacred. You don't need to force what is already magnetized to your frequency. That's what makes this season so powerful. You're not performing for your blessings, you're simply becoming aligned with them. There's a quiet lesson here that mirrors what many of us learn in our everyday walk of faith. When we stop asking if we're good enough and start believing that what is meant for us is already on the way, everything changes. There is a passage often shared in times of uncertainty. When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. These words are not a promise of convenience. They are a confirmation of timing. And Libra, the timing now is holy. You've already sown. You've cried in silence. You've waited when everything in you wanted to give up. And now, the first green shoots are breaking the surface. There's something deeply comforting about the thought that nothing was ever wasted. Not the delay. Not the heartbreak. Not the nights when you questioned your path. In the same way a seed needs darkness before it grows, you needed space-time pressure to prepare for the weight of the blessing that's on its way. This is not a reward for struggle. It's the natural result of spiritual maturity. And now, because you've shown up for yourself in ways no one saw, you're ready to be seen, loved, and supported in ways that are deeply real. So Libra, take a deep breath and know this: the portal isn't just open. It's calibrated to your name. It's responding to your consistency, your clarity, your capacity to hope again. Keep your heart open, your hands unclenched, and your boundaries clear. What's arriving needs space not just in your calendar, but in your soul. You don't need to chase miracles. You are standing in one. And from this point forward, things will begin to align, not because you fought harder, but because you finally chose to receive with open eyes and an anchored heart. Not every connection in your life is meant to stay, and not every presence is meant to transform you. But there are rare, unmistakable moments when a soul crosses your path, and something inside you quietly recognizes, this is different. Libra, that kind of moment is drawing nearer, perhaps it's already begun. What's coming isn't just a romantic figure or a companion to fill space. This is a co-creator. A grounded, steady presence, not here to rescue you or fix your story, but to walk beside you as you rise into it fully. Their love will not ask you to shrink, to bend, or to explain yourself into pieces. They'll love you in your clarity, not despite it. In the language of tarot, this is reflected through the appearance of the Ace of Pentacles. A card of substance. A card of soil, not smoke. The kind of opportunity that doesn't dazzle and disappear, it builds, it roots, it provides. This person, or this energy entering your field, is not fleeting. It's not here to rush you or sweep you off your feet with intensity that burns out. It's here to plant. To lay bricks. To become part of the foundation of a life that feels lived, not performed. You may recognize their energy as calm, confident, even a little understated at first, but it will feel strangely familiar. The way they look at you might feel like coming home, not in a nostalgic way, but in a way that says, I've met you somewhere beyond words. There are signs you'll notice, small echoes from the unseen. Numbers like 111 or 444 that flash repeatedly, seemingly out of nowhere. Dreams that come in layers, symbols that repeat, a peace in your chest when you think of them even if your mind can't explain why. This is not fantasy. This is the way intuitive souls feel the shape of something real long before it arrives fully formed. When people ask how they'll know when it's real, I often answer, it won't feel like tension. It will feel like clarity. It won't demand performance. It will invite presence. This is what's ahead for you, Libra, not a whirlwind, but a rhythm. Not someone you chase, but someone who already moves at your frequency. Their energy may carry the archetype of the King of Wands or the Knight of Pentacles, focused and purpose-driven. Whether this is someone new or someone already in your orbit, what matters most is the quality of the connection, not the history behind it. And while I don't speak from doctrine, I do speak from truth. When two people agree to walk in integrity, when their relationship is rooted in shared values and mutual vision, there is a kind of grace that covers them. In modern life, we're taught to move fast, to match surface compatibility. But this is different. This is an alignment that asks nothing from you except that you be who you really are. That you stay awake to your own worth. That you trust the inner wisdom that says, this feels safe, not because it's perfect, but because it's honest. Sometimes, the most miraculous answers don't show up in loud deliverance. They arrive in human form, in an ordinary moment that suddenly glows with meaning. So Libra, don't overlook what feels gentle. Don't ignore what seems quiet. Because the love that changes you won't come crashing in. It will walk in, softly, and stay. There are moments in life that feel less like endings and more like quiet ceremonies of release. Libra, this phase you're entering is one of those moments. You're not walking away from others to punish them, nor are you abandoning pieces of yourself. Instead, you are gently returning home to what has always been true but often forgotten, that you do not need to earn what was always meant for you. The card of El Mundo, or the world, signals the kind of closure that carries wisdom, not regret. It's not about slamming doors or forcing conclusions. It's a sacred shift that arises naturally when the lesson has been fully integrated. You're graduating from old roles, outdated stories, and inherited patterns that no longer fit who you are becoming. The old mantras are dissolving. I must prove myself to be loved. I need to fix everything to stay worthy. Maybe if I give more, they'll stay. These beliefs were never a reflection of your truth, they were reflections of your early survival strategies. And while those strategies may have once protected you, they are now silently holding you back. What replaces them is not rage or resentment, but quiet clarity. You begin to whisper to yourself a new declaration: I am love. I choose myself without guilt. I receive without justification. This shift isn't about control, it's about alignment. And in this alignment, something extraordinary happens. Life begins to match your new vibration without force. Where you once chased, you now attract. Where you once settled, you now discern. Where you once feared, you now trust. You become less interested in proving and more interested in simply being. In the world of astrology and energy work, we often speak about color vibrations and number frequencies as mirrors for our inner process. This week, Golden yellow and olive green emerge as intuitive anchors for you. Gold, as a frequency, reminds you of your inherent worth, your regal energy, your inner abundance. It reflects the solar plexus, the center of confidence and willpower. Olive green grounds that light with heart-centered strength. It encourages peace, protection, and practical intuition, not the kind that floats above life, but the kind that walks through it with quiet conviction. Wearing or surrounding yourself with these tones can act as subtle signals to your subconscious, affirming that you're ready to stabilize the new. And then there are the numbers 6, 16, 111. These are not random. The number 6 is often linked with harmony, relationships, and divine balance. It speaks of unity, but not codependency. It asks you to love from overflow, not depletion. The number 16, in numerology, carries themes of breaking illusions of transformation that begins when comfort zones are dissolved. It's about the sudden realization that you've outgrown the version of yourself you used to perform. And 111? That's a gateway. A reminder. A soft bell ringing from your higher self, saying, "Stay awake. You're manifesting faster now." This entire transition echoes a principle we often forget in busy lives. Sometimes God doesn't intervene with thunder. Sometimes the miracle is that you begin to see differently. That you wake up one day and choose peace over chaos, trust over trauma, truth over performance. That is divine, too. The miracle isn't always external. Sometimes it's the soft courage to stop running, to stand still, and to say, "I'm ready for something better, and I no longer need to apologize for asking." So as this cycle completes and a new one quietly opens, know that you're not losing. You're refining. You're not letting go of love, you're letting go of fear disguised as love. And as you do, you create space for something far more real to find you, and to stay. There's something powerful about realizing that transformation doesn't always arrive through lightning or loud moments of clarity. Sometimes, it comes quietly through the small, intentional choices you make in your daily life. Libra, this next phase of your journey is not just about receiving blessings, but about preparing your vessel to hold them. It's about self-stewardship. About making your life ready for the abundance you've asked for. And so often, that readiness is not spiritual in theory, but practical in rhythm. Your energy body is shedding, renewing you're in what many call a cellular reset. That means your nervous system, your emotions, your thoughts, and even your physical cravings may feel unfamiliar. This is not a breakdown. This is recalibration. The body always speaks first. When energy shifts, the body follows. So now is the time to simplify. Drink warm water when you wake, not because it's trendy, but because it signals your system to awaken gently. Turn off the noise not just digitally, but emotionally. Too much input, too many opinions, too much comparison will only distort what you already know deep inside. Give yourself permission to unplug from the chaos and return to your breath. 15 quiet minutes at sunrise can regulate your mind more than hours of self-help content ever could. In your financial world, there are subtle doors opening, but they require attention, not impulse. You might feel drawn to a side project, a freelance offer, or even a creative idea you've shelved for months. These aren't distractions, they're breadcrumbs. But they need a container. Start tracking your spending, not because you fear lack, but because you respect flow. Avoid emotional purchases. Pause before buying as a form of comfort. Financial healing begins when you stop proving and start planning. Your relationship with money is about trust, and trust is built in quiet choices, not dramatic overhauls. Work, too, is asking for honesty. If you're drained, bored, or secretly resentful, that's not failure, that's feedback. Listen. Maybe it's not time to quit everything, but it may be time to change how you show up. To realign your purpose with your calendar. Sometimes, the most powerful shift isn't leaving, it's returning to your integrity inside a space that once made you shrink. And if that's not possible, then yes, maybe the shift is literal. But either way, the invitation is the same: come back to yourself. In love, this energy asks you to stop shrinking. To stop shape-shifting into someone who's easier to love. If you have to become less of yourself to stay in a connection, that's not a connection, it's a performance. Say no, softly but firmly, to dynamics that make your spirit contract. Love doesn't demand your disappearance. The right kind of love will meet you where you are and reflect you back, not ask you to dim. It's okay to be soft and still have boundaries. It's okay to care and still protect your peace. And it's more than okay to give, just not at the expense of your own center. This is what real self-help looks like. It's not always glamorous or shareable. It's in the moments no one sees, when you choose stillness over scrolling, silence over proving, nourishment over numbness. These habits, these tiny daily altars of discipline and care, are what anchor your future. They don't just invite luck in. They make sure it stays. Because what's coming to you, Libra, is too sacred to be held by a life that isn't sustainable. So build a life that can carry the weight of your answered prayers. And trust that every small shift is part of a bigger miracle already unfolding. Sometimes we forget that the journey to fulfillment isn't a race, it's a sacred unfolding. And Libra, as you arrive at this stage of your reading, you're being asked to hold something deeper than a prediction. You're being handed the symbolic torch, the inner flame of your own destiny. You didn't come here to live a life that pleases everyone else. You didn't come here to perform worthiness. You came here to remember who you are, to embody that truth, and to let your light guide the path ahead. Not with urgency, but with clarity. Not to prove, but to become. In the language of numerology and tarot, the number 10 represents a state of completion, emotional harmony in the 10 of Cups, material security in the 10 of Pentacles. But the truth is, no one gets to 10 without first moving through the 9. And the 9 is never about others, it's about you. Independence, inner alignment, and soul maturity are all part of that transition. 9 is where you stop seeking outside approval and begin holding yourself. 9 is when the mirror turns inward. It's where your healing becomes less about who hurt you and more about how you choose to carry your own heart now. And once that shift settles in, 10 becomes not just a destination, but a reflection of everything you've already embodied. That's why it's important to remind yourself daily of what you already carry. Not from a place of lacking, but from a place of sacred remembering. A spiritual mentor once said that transformation begins the moment we stop waiting to be rescued. It begins when we choose to become the answer to our own prayer. You are not a vessel waiting to be filled, you are the flame, the spark, the breath behind the change. You are not the echo, you are the voice. And what's coming for you now, Libra, is not a handout from fate. It's a mirror of your own alignment. When we say things like, I am love, or I am abundance, we're not pretending. We're placing our consciousness where we want our life to flow. Think of it like adjusting a dial on a radio. If you want to hear peace, you can't keep tuning into static. You have to intentionally turn the knob. Your thoughts, your words, your rituals, these are all subtle, powerful ways to change the frequency you're living on. A simple practice, like writing down 5 things you're grateful for each morning, might seem small. But over time, it becomes the groundwork for a reality built on presence instead of pressure. It allows your nervous system to relax into trust. It allows your energy to expand without fear. And when you wake up and say to yourself, I am not waiting for miracles, I am the miracle, you begin living from your own center. You're no longer outsourcing your power. You stop looking for validation in places that never truly see you. Instead, you start carrying the kind of grace that isn't loud, but undeniable. Some people call this spiritual authority. Others call it alignment. You might call it peace. Either way, it's yours. It's the quiet strength that says, even if no one applauds, I will still rise. It's the soft rebellion of choosing joy even when the world insists you should earn it. It's knowing that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right timing are not something you chase, they are drawn to the version of you that remembers who you are. So Libra, don't dim that light. You're not here to blend in. You're here to bless the world by being unapologetically whole. You're here to carry that torch not for others, but as a reminder to yourself that you were never lost, only waiting for the right moment to come alive. And that moment, dear soul, is now. Libra, let me ask you something gently but boldly. What if the life you've always dreamed of isn't something you need to chase, but something waiting for your permission to begin? What if the doors you've been knocking on were always meant to open, but only when you finally whispered yes to yourself first? You don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to earn the miracle. You are the miracle. And now is the time to finally remember that. So I invite you to pause. Take a breath. Feel the weight you've been carrying. And now, imagine letting it go. You are not here to live halfway. You are not here to keep shrinking to fit into places you've outgrown. You are here to live fully, to walk through this next season as the version of you who no longer waits to be chosen. Because what if the person you've been waiting for is you? Have you ever truly looked in the mirror and said, I choose me? Not because someone told you to. Not because you're trying to be strong. But because, deep down, your soul remembers that choosing yourself was always the key. The universe doesn't reward effort, Alanite responds to alignment. And right now, Libra, you are stepping into rare alignment. This isn't about manifesting a single moment of magic. This is about building a life where love, luck, and destiny arrive because they recognize your energy as their home. If you've ever poured your love into the wrong hands, if you've ever sacrificed yourself for temporary connection, then maybe this is the moment you get to love differently. Maybe this time, the love story begins with you. With your own name on your heart. With your own trust guiding the path. And when you do that, when you become the one who finally chooses yourself, you unlock a reality where destiny no longer feels distant. It stands beside you. It walks with you. It speaks through you. So let me gently ask you now, are you willing to receive the miracle you asked for? Can you allow the good to stay this time? Can you soften enough to be held not by someone else, but by your own becoming? If that answer is yes, seal it with energy. Comment below, I claim my destined miracle now, or, today, I open to the love and luck that already belong to me. Let your words become a digital echo to the universe. A ripple of affirmation that you're no longer waiting, you're arriving. And if this message stirred something in you, if your spirit feels like it just took its first deep breath in a while, let that be the sign. Hit like if your heart whispered, finally. Subscribe to Zodiac Whisper Tarot if you feel the pull to walk this journey with us week after week. And share this with someone you love. A simple act of faith, a seed of synchronicity in their life. Because Libra, you don't have to chase what's already yours. You only have to receive it. And this time, you won't walk this path alone. Because someone destined is coming. Someone written in the stars. And they're not bringing chaos. They're bringing confirmation. They're bringing peace. They're bringing a chapter you don't have to survive, one you get to live.